I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bree Fansteel, local race car driver. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday at 7 p.m. for The Finish Line, where we discuss off-road, on-road, and sometimes next-to-the-road racing on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Good morning to everybody across Lincoln and wherever you may be listening on the Ticket app, maybe on the website, wherever you may be listening. Good morning. We're glad to get to Sunday because it means it is our second edition of What's Next here on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Jake Bakoven in studio with Mike and Sherry and a special guest. I'll send it over to you guys and let's take off show number 2.
All right. Well, good morning. I hope everybody's got their coffee ready. I'm Mike and I'm with Sherry.
I'm Sherry.
And we've got a special guest today, Deputy Chief Ben Houchin.
Good morning.
We're so glad to have you with us today. We want to welcome the listeners to our podcast. It's a journey of personal growth and transformation. We hope you find this to be a positive and helps you get your morning started out right. We want to introduce again Sherry. We're the authors of NXT24, Discover Happiness and True Joy in Your Life While You Create a Legacy. We've got a book out. It's over at Barnes & Noble at Lincoln South Point Mall. You can get that book as a signed edition, but we are just so proud. Our mission is to inspire, motivate, and support our listeners on the journey to create a legacy. Sherry, I'm going to turn this over to you. Why don't you introduce our guest?
Well, first, I just want to say we want to encourage you guys. We really want to encourage the listeners to join us on this journey. We're inviting you. You text. I think that Jake will be able to see any text messages and that kind of thing, and he'll give us the cues and tell us what's going on. We want you to participate in this if you want to. We have just really quick. We do a podcast besides this radio show. We do a podcast on Saturday mornings. Like Mike said, we have the book NXT24, Finding Joy and Happiness While Creating a Legacy in Your Life. You can find us. Our webpage is www.next24, that's NXT24thebook.com. We also have a Facebook page that's Next24 Personal Development. That's really kind of fun. We try to be encouraging and fun with that, thought-provoking. And, of course, down here, 93.7 The Ticket, which we're still just super excited about. Just really quick, we're going to, our topic today is kind of the mind and the mindset. Everything we do starts with the thought, whether it's good or bad. And it is so important to overcome the mindset challenges that we create. Most of the time we create them ourselves because the circumstances around us, and, with that being said, our show today, we've kind of titled The Hero's Journey.
That's right.
And because we have Chief Deputy Houchin on here with us, Ben Houchin, and we are so excited that he's our very first guest. So welcome.
Well,
Do we
thank
call
you.
you Ben? Do we call you Chief? What do we call you?
You know what, Ben is just fine.
Okay. Do we need to salute when we talk?
Oh, no.
I'm sure some of your personnel are probably going, yeah, you need to salute when you talk to him. Anyways, Ben has quite a story in his life, and to us, and from what we've gotten to know with him, he's just like the true embodiment of resilience and determination. He's overcome a lot of things in his life, a lot of lessons he draws from all of his experiences that he's gone through, not only in law enforcement, but in his personal life. And so Ben, we're just going to kind of let you tell your story. We have a couple questions that we kind of went over with you.
Sure.
Just really quick, give us a really quick rundown of your credentials, which are really quite impressive in my opinion.
Well, I graduated from Sydney, Iowa, and I went to Nebraska Wesleyan. I got hired at the sheriff's office in 1993. Started in patrol and worked my way up through the ranks, became sergeant in 2000 at the criminal division. In 2005, I became the captain. I worked the special services, worked in patrol, worked in the criminal division, and then in October 1st of 2020, I became the chief deputy.
Wow, that's pretty darn impressive.
You know what, I've had, when I started this career, I graduated from Wesleyan. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And I went and worked at the Nebraska Corrections for about 13 months. And I saw an ad in the paper to become a deputy or a Lincoln Police Department. Back then, they'd hire at the same time. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. Don't really know what I want to do yet. And so just doing this for a few years would be great. Well, 31 years later, here I am.
How'd you end up at Wesleyan?
Basketball.
Oh, you did? Did you play
Yep.
basketball at Wesleyan?
Yep.
Very good. How'd they do that? Get recruited? How'd you find Lincoln?
Well, initially I went to William Penn in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Yes.
And then I decided, you know what, the college at that place, everybody would go home when I was like 3 hours away. So I didn't get, and you're playing basketball and doing that, you couldn't do that. So I decided, hey, I'm going to just come to Lincoln and do that. And came and talked to the coaches, and there I was.
How are the teams?
You know what? We were very good. I played minimal, but yeah, we made the tournaments. We did well, and they continue to do very well.
Wow,
but
excellent.
We were the Plainsmen back then, not the.
Oh, that's right. They're Prairie Wolves
Yes.
right now, aren't they?
Yes.
Plainsmen. I forgot
the
about that.
Plainsmen. Yes, they made that change, and I can't remember exactly when they did that, but yeah, it was after I was gone. But yeah, they made that change.
So you went to college.
Yes.
And then, like you said, I was surprised. What was your role at the penitentiary?
I worked in the guard. I worked at turnkey. Worked the Tower 8. Learned a lot going from Nebraska Wesleyan and to the penitentiary was an eye opener. Just as you can imagine, a different culture.
Yeah, because you're pretty young.
At
starting
22, I think.
22. What was your learning experience just from that?
People lie and people are bad. And I was part of a lot of forced cell moves out. Different people would do things. It was like I said, a very big eye opener on that. People, some of the inmates would make shanks and do some of those things, and we'd end up having to go in and get them and do that. And yeah, it was an eye opener.
How long were you there?
13 months.
Oh, 13. And then what happened?
Then I went to the sheriff's office.
Tell us a little bit about the training.
Oh, first we ended up, you go to the academy, and that's, I believe back then it was 16 weeks. and you end up we go out to Grand Island, and you stay in a dorm, you have a roommate, and you go through your basic training at that point. Then you get back and you go through the FTO, field training office, or officers, and do that part of it. And it takes about a year from the time you get hired to the time you're actually out on your own. And to be honest, you're not even totally trained at that point in time. It takes a good 3 years before a law enforcement officer has a pretty good grasp of being able to deal with everything and not have to ask questions.
I take it at that point, was this your passion?
Oh, you know what? It was just fun.
It was just fun.
Yeah. You know what? I've been lucky enough. Not every day has been great by no means, and there's been some days, but I would say 95% of the time I go to work and I want to be there and do this. You're making a difference.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is so huge. And it's such an important part. I really don't care what you do, but for a living, but when you can go every morning and go, okay, I like my job.
Yep.
I like being here. When you leave at the end of the day, no matter how cruddy your job was, you could leave and go, you know what? I remember this that happened today, and I really made that big difference.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, it is. When you're getting paid to do something you love, then that's a good day.
So many people don't.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. Oh, I grew up on a farm, and back then we didn't have all the things they have now, and we'd walk beans, and we would put up the hay and do all those things, and that was work. And yeah.
Let me ask you this. Didn't mean to interrupt. I was just thinking over the period of time. We've talked a little bit about it on the phone. How's the culture changed? What's the environment that you're seeing out there?
When we first started, especially after 9/11 happened, we were heroes. George Floyd made us, in my profession, we've been kind of labeled as the bad guy. And that really stinks, because that's not what the profession is about. And it's very honorable. And that's been one of the biggest things that's changed. I think social media has changed things a lot too on that end of it. And, everything's bigger now. And a lot of times you wouldn't hear about certain things everywhere. And I think sometimes, like in any profession, there's people that do bad. There's law enforcement, there's doctors, there's all these types. But, all of a sudden, one person does something bad in Seattle, let's just say, we all get punished for it at this point in time.
Seeing those firsthand, the dark side, the bad side, whatever you may want to call it, did it test you? In other words, did you start to see the glass half empty or half full?
Oh, the sad thing is even with the good people, we deal with about 10% of the folks in society a lot. We don't get to see a lot of the other 90%, but when we do, let's just say we're out working a car accident. Well, this great person is at their worst at this point in time. So that's when we get to come meet them. Is we usually don't get to meet people when something great happens. Now, we work football games and do that. And I just, a lot of times people just walk up and say, hey, thank you for what you do. And those always make you happy and smile on that end of it. Because I do think the silent majority do still respect law enforcement.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I do too. I think there is a need, a calling for people to want to have law and order, positivity. Sherry, go ahead. What was your next question? I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm a horse girl. So I'm really impressed that you come from the Midwest rodeo capital.
Oh, yeah. Sydney Rodeo.
That's right.
my dad used to do quarter horses, show horses, and do all that.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I'm telling you what, I could probably sit and talk to him for hours.
I'm sure.
But this isn't about me today. This is about you. It's just really quick. If you could just run down for us, besides all of the things that you have done and you do in your job, you've really hit on a lot of specialty things.
Yes.
In your career. If you just want to touch on that a little bit. I was just like, I read this and my eyes just popped out of my head going, whoa, I bet you he's got some good stories.
Well, one of my true calling, I love the tactical aspect of the job. We call ours TRU, Tactical Response Unit. It's basically what everybody would think is SWAT, but that's what we call ours. I was a crime scene tech. I did polygraph exams. I went to the Baxter Polygraph School in San Diego in 1999. And gosh, I can't remember. I think it was about 8 weeks. I got to spend
I
there
didn't
and
even
do
know
that.
they had a school for that.
Oh yeah. Um, uh, so did that part of it, and then our officer involved shooting team, which I hate having to, that's one of the worst things that ends up, but
Right.
somebody has to go in and investigate and do those. So I've been part of that team too. And also I was I was in the second class in Nebraska for drug recognition experts, which is drug driving.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's impressive, I have to say. I had to check a little bit. One thing, your when you told us about what led you to law enforcement.
Yes.
Tell us just that short little story about when you were a kid.
Oh yeah. We we used to play cops and robbers
Yeah.
all the time, and
Yeah.
I always wanted to be the cop. I never wanted to be the bad guy
Be the
and
bad guy.
do that. So that I look back on that, and I don't know if that was just one of the things, but I've always kind of had that itch to want to do this part and do this job on that. When you're a kid, you don't really understand what the job consists of,
Right.
and even when I first got into it and started learning what happens, there is so much more, and there's a lot of time. There's 95% boredom and 5% total excitement and out of controlness, and so that kind of surprised me on some of that part of it. And it's always funny too. As you can see, I'm in uniform here, and I have all these stuff on and all this. But the number one thing that you really need now, it's more the computer. You can't do the job without the pen, because we're always taking reports. We're always doing those things, writing things down, and we write a ton of reports. It's always so funny when you see these movies and the car crashes and the shootouts, and they all just walk away and go home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if they even knew how much work was going to have to be placed in if something like that happens.
So throughout your life, you've lived an active lifestyle.
Yes.
And it's on the go.
Yes.
And as you've talked to me about a little bit, you like to be busy
all the time.
But tell us about, you had a health scare.
Oh yes. Back in March of 2017, I had like I said, I'd go out, I'd run 5 miles, we'd bike. One of my good friends, Jeff Blymeister, who used to be the chief of police,
yes.
him and I work out together and do adventure races together. And I got to the point where, I was running 5 miles under 7 minutes and doing all that, and I could hardly make it a mile. And then my leg began to hurt. And I finally it was stupid stubborn, and it almost killed me. And so I finally go to the doctor, and we ended up figuring out, one, I had a blood clot, and then two, I was pumping on about 40% of what I needed oxygen-wise because I was so anemic.
Wow.
And so we went and did some tests, and did the upper GI first, didn't see anything, did the lower, and then I got diagnosed with colon cancer.
Tell me about that, Ben, because I'm former medical and former oncology. That was the main specialty that I worked in. And I know, this had to be stop you in your tracks type of conversation you had with that doctor.
Well, when you do a colonoscopy, they put you out most of the time.
Right.
So what ended up happening is they saw it, and then I did a scan right away to see where it was at. The sad thing is I remember kind of having a conversation with the doctor, but I was still kind of out of it. And so I didn't know what was really truly going on until the next day. And we had a phone conversation, because it was funny. I think everybody thought I was okay in doing that, but I don't remember hardly a lot about that.
So right, literally immediately after that colonoscopy, they scanned you.
Yes.
Wow. For those of you that don't know medical, that's critical.
Yeah, they knew something was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for them to do it that fast, but kudos to your medical team.
Yes. Yeah.
Kudos to your medical team.
Yeah. So then we ended up doing that, and I ended up having surgery and lost 20% of my colon at that point in time, and it was in my lymph nodes. It was 3B at that point in time stage, and So I ended up doing 20 or 12 rounds of chemotherapy.
12 rounds.
Yes.
Was it just chemo or did they incorporate radiation?
Just
into
chemo.
that? Just
That they were able to get it all out, they believe, unless as you know, it could be in your blood and you
Right.
can't see it. And that's the reason why they end up doing the chemo on that. So if there was anything left in there, that it would hopefully kill it.
Well, absolutely. And when they find it in your lymph nodes, I mean that can take it everywhere
Yes.
throughout your body, and that is always a big concern.
And that's what it did.
Let's kind of go back. I mean, it's, as you know, it is, but a lot of people don't know. It is such a process from that diagnosis to that treatment plan.
Yes.
You're going through a lot of testing. You're going through a lot of uncertainty. Um, where Talk to us a little bit about your feelings. I mean,
I started
A, it
playing.
had to be devastating. B, it had to be scary, and you're dealing with that. But then I'm sure you're dealing with, the emotions of your family, of your friends, of your business associates. Kind of give us a little brief synopsis of where you were at with all that.
One thing I did is I kept it kind of quiet from people at work and doing that part. And even I had younger, Elian and Rin were really young. Now they're 14 and 16, but back then they were a lot younger. They knew Dad was having some things, but I don't think they knew how serious it was. And I didn't want them to know about that. One of the things I did is I started playing Dr. Google, and that was probably one of the worst things I could have possibly done.
Bad move.
Yeah, because you start reading and you can kind of go through all that. It was very. I was worried. I was scared. I had young kids that I wanted to be there for at this point, but so that part was hard. It probably was about a week or two that we finally ended up getting a game plan. And once I had a game plan, then it started to get easier at that point in time. And then I could focus on what do I need to do to get over this. And my mindset was I was going to win. Game on.
But see, that is the thing that I really want to, to stress on to you, our listeners. It doesn't matter whether it's cancer, diabetes, or what other health issues or health scares you might be going through. It's like, you gather the information, and like you said, Dr. Google, I remember so many times telling my patients, please stay off the internet.
Yes.
Because you see all the good, all the bad, things that aren't even incorrect information. I hate the term misinformation.
Right.
But it's, getting from that point to that point A to that point B, the uncertainty, and it's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect. I would have patients come in and bless their hearts. That first day of chemo, they were like deer in the headlights, because they didn't know what to expect. And I told them, you know what, you're going to be amazed that once you walk through this first part of it, you're going to walk away and go, well, I made this way worse in my mind than it really truly was. And it's serious. But, having all the information is key. Tell me a little bit about, until you started your treatment and stuff, that was there little things you did during the day to kind of keep yourself focused, or did it seem like everything was tumbling out of control a little bit?
I made a promise to myself I wasn't going to feel sorry for myself. And but yeah, the uncertainty part of it, that I was in the criminal division when this happened, and one of our jobs in the county attorney is the coroner of Lancaster County, and part of that he's given the responsibility to the sheriff's office to conduct coroner investigations. Well, in my position, I'd review them and check the reports. Well, then all of a sudden you start seeing people passing away from colon cancer all the time, and I'm like, that one hit a little bit, because I think the first one I read after I got back from my surgery portion of it, the first coroner report I opened up was somebody who passed away from colon cancer, and I was like,
what are the odds?
Go figure. Yeah. But yeah, I just remember there was some sleepless nights on that part of it, and just trying to figure out what am I going to do. Dr. Nathan Green was my doctor through this, and love him to death. He handled me perfectly. Being a cop, I just needed to know the facts. I didn't need a whole lot of bedside manner. I just need to say, okay, here's what we got, here's what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to beat this.
Right. And you know what, I think that is so key, is getting your medical personnel that know you, that can read your personality, that know the best way to handle you.
Yeah.
How, I've seen it all, but I want to ask you, how did the people that were closest to you, how did they handle you? Did they, oh, poor you, or did they handle you with kid gloves? And some people I have observed, some of my former patients, people backed off of them.
Oh, you know what? I dealt a lot with humor, and I believe it or not, us cops have some dark humor. And as we go through this part of it, no, nobody backed away, especially at work on that. Again, I kept it a lot secret on that part. I don't remember anybody treating me any different and doing that part. So no, I don't remember having that issue on that, but I think some of that may have been my just personality on how I went about doing that.
Let me ask,
and that's half the.
let me ask you this: how did you handle it on a day-to-day basis?
Yes,
stay busy.
Stay busy. Did you have some pain? I was just sometimes you get little tweaks, little pains, little feelings. The
hardest thing on all of this is I've gone on through it. I would get scanned every 3 months, and I tell you the wait for that to do that, and then the anxiety of that part of it was always is it come back, and that's been the hardest part of it for me on doing that. So that I get scanned again this Wednesday.
Do you?
Yes, and so it's been I've graduated to every 6 months, and if this will be year 4 from the time that it went to my liver. And that has that was an experience too, and we can go ahead, kind of go into that part.
Let me stop you there. We need to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with our guest, Ben Hauscher.
Join us on Monday, July 29th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary. Enjoy 40% off wings all day and your favorite sports talk hosts on air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang with us for the 40th anniversary party on Monday, July 29th at the 68th and O Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Do you have a new address or phone number? Update your info with Powerline, LES's outage reporting system. Visit les.com/powerline or call 402-475-4211 to sign up.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant. 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Hey, Nebraska football fans, it's defensive lineman Ty Robinson, and I've got a winning play for you with Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Team up with Action and install a new Bradford white water heater in your home. And if we win the conference championship this season, you'll get a full refund. Don't fumble this opportunity. Sack your old water heater this season and score big with Action. Visit actionlincoln.com/Huskers to learn more.
Promotion valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
In today's digital landscape, the security of your business is non-negotiable. That's why you need better cybersecurity solutions. At Hamilton, we make it our business to protect your network, data, and digital assets with the latest in cybersecurity technology. Our dedicated team of experts has the technology in place to protect what matters most to you and your business. Stay ahead of cyber threats with better cybersecurity protection. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Mike with Next 24. We're so glad. We're going to start our second half here real quick. We're with our special guest, Deputy Chief Houchin. We're so glad you're here and talking about your life story, and the cancer diagnosis. Even though we talk about a heavy topic at the beginning, I have the joke of the day for you, Tier. Hope you're ready. And
Here we go.
This is perfect.
Get ready to grow.
I'm glad we have an officer in the room. Here you go. Why did the coffee file a police report? Anybody
I don't know, Mike. Why did it file a police report?
Because it got mugged. Oh, no. I thought you'd like that. Oh, boo.
We need some sound effects. We really need some sound effects on the joke.
Well, okay. Why don't coffee beans ever gossip? The answer is because they don't want to spill the beans.
Okay, we're going to limit you to one
We're
joke.
going to limit one joke for show. All right. Well, we're here with Ben Houchin, and he's been talking about his cancer diagnosis and his life. Sherry, why don't you go ahead and take it from here?
Well, we just were starting to get into before the break. Ben had told us about his beginning cancer journey and the treatment and how he went into, I believe they probably told you, remission.
Yes.
And then, every so much you go through scans and do that checkup, and that in and of itself is a little bit harrowing.
To say the least, yes.
Yes, but after 3 years, I believe.
Yes.
17 to 20.
Yes.
Yeah, went in for a scan, and tell us what happened.
Well, they do the blood labs, and mine was high, and
Yep.
so they ended up wanting to scan me at that point in time. So they scanned, and I got informed that it had come back, and it was in my liver.
Yeah, and it's for those of you, once again, for those of you that aren't medical, there are a lot of lab tests that they can do depending on what type of cancer you have.
Yes.
They call them tumor markers.
Yes.
And when they see that elevation on your routine nothing's routine about this, but on your routine blood work and your checkups, when they see those elevate, that's an automatic red flag.
Yeah, and again, it takes some time to get all that information, and so yeah, it started all over again. But this time it's stage 4, and it's scary.
Stage 4 is scary.
Yeah.
Because it's moved to other parts of your body. Okay. And then the question is, okay, now what do we do? How do we treat this? You know, did they have a different treatment plan going from your colon to your liver?
Well, the insurance companies, of
Mm.
course, start to make you do. I had to wait. We had to do a. They see the spot, so we have to do a biopsy. So I
Oh.
have to wait and then go do that part, and then I had to wait for the results to come back. And at that point in time, I already knew that it was.
Yeah.
And so I can remember going in and talking to Dr. Green, and if there was any kind of blessing on all this, it was just one spot. It wasn't all over the place. And so the game plan then was, you know what, we're going to go in, we're going to cut it out. And so that was what we ended up doing. And so initially after that, I had to do 6 rounds of chemo again. And luckily it responded and started to shrink.
Wow.
And so then on August 3rd, 2020, my daughter Ren's birthday, and in the middle of COVID, went and had surgery on my liver, and I have this very beautiful scar on my stomach now that looks like a train track that goes from here to there.
But actually, that's your badge of courage right there, kiddo.
Yeah, and in some ways too. The hard thing with it is it's always there, and it's always reminding you, because you can always, it is very prevalent in being able to see that. And they open you up, and it took me a while to recover from that part. That I'm thankful that I was able to work out and had been working out. I think that had helped me recover quicker than it could have.
Let me pause you there. Just I have one question. It's being a male, you're working, you used to go into working. Besides the surgery, because you're going through all this, was there a fear of just income, taking care of the bills? I know you're on leave and things are getting paid for, but was there any just outside concerns in your thoughts of everything else in your life because of this situation?
Thankfully, I did what I do. I could work light duty, and so I came back fairly quickly after the surgery. Being a captain, I wasn't the one out working the road and doing all that, so I could do most of my job at that point in time, and so that I was able to get back. As you know, we're in the middle of COVID. When I was doing the chemo, we had the incident of George Floyd, and the riots started to occur. So
yes.
I was the tactical response unit commander at that point. So I was out in that still doing, going through the chemo and doing that whole the unrest, I guess, for the lack of a better word, was occurring.
Right. And, chemo in and of itself, I think people have this idea of, oh, well, you're going to go through chemo and you're going to constantly be thrown up and you're going to lose your hair. Well, a lot of that depends on what type of chemo you're taking. First of all, I'm really impressed that you were going through treatment at that time, regardless of what type of chemo you were getting, and still able to facilitate and do your job, because chemo, I think with most chemos, it really zaps you of your strength, and I think that the fact that you were in pretty good physical condition starting off, even after your first diagnosis and going through the treatment, then you continue. Am I correct in understanding that you continued to work out, that you continued to do what you needed to do for all that? And after that, it's one thing that the research found quite a few years ago, was even through the exhaustion with cancer patients that are going through treatment, got to push yourself, even if you don't feel it. You got to push yourself, even if it's getting up and walking around the house. That makes such a big difference in your recovery and how you respond to the treatment. One thing I wanted to touch base with you quick, and it's a word. I know it's just a word, but you had said that you remember them calling it palliative treatment. How did they explain that word palliative treatment to you?
They didn't.
They didn't.
So this wasn't Dr. Green. Another individual was there and just kind of explaining it, and I had to sign something and the word came out, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what that is." And I looked it up and did that, and I thought, you know what, that's not what this is.
No,
And
because the phrase palliative treatment is usually the phrase and the word that they use right before you get put on hospice.
yes,
And when you get put on hospice, that means that, and especially palliative treatment, palliative means they're just kind of giving you chemo to treat the symptoms and to keep you giving you quantity of life rather than that quality of life.
right.
Now, I think from what I understand for you that a lot of little things that you did, your sense of humor, continuing to work out and keep yourself healthy, keeping that right mindset and keeping that right attitude and that determination that, by gosh, I'm going to beat this. That was the defining factor of you going from palliative to hospice.
Yeah. And I tell you, the hardest thing for me when that is the two surgeries. I'd have to wait 6 weeks before I could go actually start to work out and lift and do all those kind of things. That was the harder part of it, because that was just such a part of my life and what I like to do on that. Because you're not supposed to lift anything over 15 pounds and do all that. And I was a horrible patient.
We all are.
Yeah, I'm sure I pushed it way too far on a lot of things, and I was lucky enough that nothing came back, and I didn't.
But you know what?
hurt
That could have
myself.
been what saved your life.
Yeah.
That could have been what kind of turned some of this around from a physiological standpoint, a biological standpoint. That could be what turned some of this around in your favor.
Yeah. I think mindset was huge on that. Even with the stage 4, the doc says that, because when again I did go online, you start looking at things, and it was stage 4 colon cancer is you got about 15% chance to be alive in 5 years. And so that was extreme eye opener at that point in time. But in talking with the docs and doing that, that is everybody. And so you can't look at it that way. You have to look at your own individual. And I was lucky enough. It was just one spot. It did respond to chemo. And so getting that out, I lost half my liver on that. But again, people say, though, the liver grows. It does. Well, it expands. It does not grow back. It just expands back out. But so that helped me on that. And again, I appreciated just the docs just being, okay, here it is. Here's straightforward with me. Let me know what I need to do and go from that. I had a great friend, Captain Leffler, and he got diagnosed with liver cancer. And I had already gone through a lot of mine, and he ended up finding out about it. He was standing at the kitchen and a bone broke in his leg, and it was bad on that. And we called and I talked, and I tried to, of course I was going to be there for him, and he just always asked me, how are you so strong going through this? And I looked at him, and it brought tears to my eyes, but I just said, I always had a chance. And that makes a huge difference. And he was sick, and he ended up passing away, and made it sad. But I still respected him on how he went through the journey too on his own, because it's your individual. Everybody has their own way of doing it and getting through with it. But I think having just the positive mindset, you got to have that, because if you lay down and die, you can't do that. And I have a son who's getting married here August 24th. And
congratulations.
I have my 2 little girls, and I just had so much that I wanted to be there for and see. And one of the things you asked, what's on my bucket list, and I said, I want to see my kids graduate from high school. I want to see them graduate from college and become successful adults. That's really what's on my bucket list, and being able to wanting to do that part of it.
Let me ask you this: how has your relationship with your children changed going through this journey?
I think a lot of what ends up, you sit there and you start concentrating on the little things and making those important. I was always I'll admit, I was career orientated for so long. And now I love those girls to death. And they, for being 16 and almost 14 here in a couple of days, they still want to go out with dad, and they still want to go do things with me. And we sit and we chat and we talk about lots of different things. And I just feel blessed to have them. It's also so cute. They tell each other that, who's their best friend, and they'll say each other. And that is so unusual, because a lot of times I think sisters fight and do all that, but they get in their little things and do that part of it. But I just totally enjoy having them around and doing that. And you don't take things for granted.
Yeah.
You kind of stop and you look at things differently. And I can remember being out and just mowing and then stopping and just looking out and seeing things and just viewing it. And I never did that before having the cancer part of it.
How has that changed for you then inside yourself? Do you enjoy the little things?
I enjoy the little things. Every day above ground's a good day.
Oh yeah. Les Brown, a motivational speaker, says if you can look up, you can get up.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is you don't take things for granted.
We're going to stop here for a moment. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with a little bit more from Deputy Chief Ben Houchin.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Join us on Monday, July 29th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary. Enjoy 40% off wings all day and your favorite sports talk hosts on air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang with us for the 40th anniversary party on Monday, July 29th at the 68th and O Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and maybe the biggest savings in the Midwest are happening right now at Koppel. When you buy a new GMC or Chevrolet anywhere else, you might be paying too much. But right now, we're going to give you over $10,000 off list or 1.9% APR on select new Chevrolets or GMCs. So please give us a shot before you buy anywhere else. Please stop in the dealership or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Must trade and finance with a roof credit.
Looking for a place to host a one-of-a-kind private game day experience for your staff or clients? Courtyard Marriott downtown is just blocks from the stadium and steps away from all the fanfare. You'll enjoy use of an entire entertainment space, including outdoor courtyard, accommodations for 250 plus guests. Party starts 3 hours before kickoff, and they'll clean up while you go and enjoy the game. Call Courtyard Marriott at 402-904-4800 for more info or to book your pregame party today. Limited dates available.
Good afternoon. This is Mike and Sherry with NXT24. We're about here with Ben Houchin today, and we'll just be finishing up our few minutes. I'm going to turn this over to Sherry for a few final questions.
One thing we've been talking about your cancer journey and stuff, and one thing we wanted to ask you was, from here on in, from this point forward, what do you have a mental attitude towards the future? Do you have how do you see your future?
Well, one thing I do want to do here, Dr. Producer up in Omaha, who did my liver surgery, I want to give a shout out to him because
repeat the name.
Dr. Producer.
Oh yeah.
I get to go, like I said, I get to go see him this Wednesday and go do that. The reason why I go up to him at this point is the good thing is the Buffett cancer, I get the labs done, I get the scans done, then I get to go see him. There's no wait anymore on that. I know exactly what's going to happen or what the results were that day. And there was no time between, because I tell you honestly, when you're sitting there and you get the scans and then you have to wait 3, 4, 5 days before you find the results, that kind of just is hard on you. So I have the opportunity to have this part of it, and so that's I go up there, and even though he graduated from Duke, and I'm a Kansas basketball fan, but anyway, we have good conversations on that part of it. But I owe a lot to that man, and he's been there, and again, all the doctors just handled me perfectly on just straightforward and doing that. So I wanted to give a shout out to him. For the future, I'm 55 years old. I couldn't imagine not going to work every day, though. I know some of the people. The scary thing is, I just went to a conference in Kansas City back in 2007. I went to FBI National Academy and in Quantico for 10 weeks and did the studying and do that. We got to do the Yellow Brick Road there and all that part of it. Yeah, that's a whole different story we can talk about later on that. But a lot of the health and wellness in law enforcement has become the big topic at this point. And thank God, because we as a profession probably said, suck it up, buttercup, and get through it. And I think that's hurt a lot of us throughout the years. And I think it's really important that nowadays it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, I saw, I think, where you noted life expectancy.
Yeah, 57. Wow. And that's not everybody, but yeah, it's 57. The average heart attack for the public, I believe, is 65, and it's 47 for law enforcement.
Wow.
Yeah, we lost Troy Bailey, back in 2020. I think it was September 11th, 2020, to a heart attack. Investigator Haruza ended up having that being shot and eventually died.
That was a big story.
Yeah, and they were good friends, and he ended up having it. So we lost both of them on that point in time. And then those were hard. And then I was the commander of the criminal investigative unit, and we had that case with Haruza and doing all that. And you're still in the middle of COVID. I just got done with my surgery and all that stuff. So there was a lot going on at that point in time in my life.
Yeah, wow. That was quite a story. Hit national news. Yes. It was quite a story.
What do you? I mean, in a kind of a double trouble, so to speak. The mental attitude towards the future. What's your mental attitude and what's your focus as far as being in law enforcement, as far as the climate that we have today, the things that are going on in the world today?
You know, it's it's a tough job, and we are in law enforcement right now having a horrible time trying to get people to come apply. When I applied, there was 800 applicants, and 4 of us got hired at the sheriff's office at that point in time. And
Mm.
now we're lucky to get 50 or 60. And as you go through the process, you start losing half of them. And in this day and age, there's a lot of jobs out there that people can have the holidays off, have the weekends off, work days, and some don't want to work the shift working third shift, and not having the greatest holiday or the days off and that. And I think it has to be more of a calling at this point in time for those. But the ones that have stood up, we have a great group of individuals at the sheriff's office, and I'm so proud of each and every one of them. And the sheriff and I talk a lot, and dang, they make us look good.
Something I'd like to ask is, because we don't talk about it very much, support group. What kind of support staff or support group do you have for officers within the department for just mental health or just discussion? Do you have what's available?
Well, like most of those things, we did get an app, and that's coming up that the state of Nebraska ended up purchasing for us. And the name, I'm sorry, it slips my mind, but all of that there, you can have if you're in a dire need. There's places you can call and talk to them and do that part of it. There's special therapists, because not all therapists understand what first responders go through, and I think you need to be able to find the ones that have some knowledge on that and be able to understand what they're going through and doing that. Because I tell you, there's a lot of things we see in this profession that most people don't see, and you shouldn't have to see. But thank God these kids that are out there doing that are willing to do that, because like I said, it can be a very tough job. It can be very emotionally draining on that. And it's not so much, sometimes it's one big event. Sometimes it's a multitude of events that end up causing some of the issues in doing that part of it. And hopefully now, like I said, with the wellness and being able to talk, one of my goals is make sure we can get people not having heart attacks in my profession at age 47 and start doing that part, because your job shouldn't kill you.
No. As we're wrapping up here shortly, Ben, tell people what they would, the question is, what is the thing that people might be surprised to learn about you?
Yes.
Well, one, believe it or not, I do not like public speaking because I'm dyslexic.
That's what you said. And you're very good at it.
Well, this is a little bit different because I'm not sitting there. One of the scarier things, and I can remember being in 8th grade, and we used to have our book open, and the teacher would just call on somebody to read a paragraph, and that would just horrify me, because I get called and trying to read it was not, and it certainly did not make me sound very intelligent at that point in time. So that part of it was, so yeah, if you hand me something and do that, I struggle, but doing things like this isn't so bad. Also, my kids are funny on that. I like candles.
I see that. I had to chuckle.
Yeah.
There's the human side.
Yeah.
That's not very manly.
No, it's not. And my girls, and they tell people that, and then they all kind of do
you have a favorite candle?
No, no, I don't. But I do like, summer, spring, fall, and those different things on that part of it. And then another thing, I love coaching, and I coached my kids through school and doing that part of it. I've coached even when I didn't have it, and that was easier when you don't have your kids, because nobody can say, "Oh, you're playing favorites for your kid." Well, I don't have one on the team, but I love that part of it. I love giving back on that, and I like the competition part of it. And sports has just always been a big part of my life. And I think one reason why I love being a law enforcement officer, because you kind of look at it as a game. When you're doing an interview on somebody that's done something really bad, you're trying to talk them into prison when you're trying to get them to confess. And that part of it, I've always enjoyed doing. And
what's the sport you coach?
Gosh, I did soccer. I did football. I've done that basketball. I've done baseball. Wow, I've done a lot of those different ones all the way through. I've kind of taken a break from it for a year on this part of it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that. I think just being around young people makes you stay young too.
Well, if this deputy thing doesn't work out, I just heard this week now they're allowing more coaches on staff, so you might want to hit up Coach Rule and see what you can do.
And real quick, now you'll be building up for the Husker football for stadium work. Are you going to be doing that?
Yeah, we UNL. The one thing I do also want to say to everybody in Lincoln is we are so lucky to have the law enforcement agencies we do. Us and the Lincoln Police Department are housed, at least part of it, in the same building, and none of us could do our jobs by ourselves.
Right.
And when things happen, we work together so well and that includes the State Patrol and UNL Police Department. So yeah, we work off duty at the football games and provide security on that. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Coming.
As we wrap up today, I'd like to give you the mic. What would you like to tell people of Lincoln?
Well, again, I think we are so lucky to have the law enforcement agencies that we have here and the people that are doing that. We don't have the issues that some of the places have. I guess I want to say that part. Another thing is, as this city grows, once the city gets over 300,000, the crime rate seems to start to go up. And I think we're beginning to see a little bit more of that part. And we're losing a little bit of the small town parts of it here in Lincoln. But as a whole, you don't see people out selling drugs on the street, wide open, nobody caring. I just got back from some Kansas City and doing that, and the odor of marijuana and all the things that end up going, you don't have that here at all. I think we are really lucky community, and it's not just law enforcement, it's everybody that this town is a great place to raise kids, work and play. And that is our number one goal at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. And I know what the other law enforcement agencies is, let's make this a safe place that people want to come and live. And I think that is so important. And I think we're doing a good job, because I don't think very many people here in Lincoln, Nebraska walk down the street and worry about their safety.
Well, tell us a little bit about you've got a Facebook page at the Lincoln Sheriff's Department.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit, your podcast.
Oh, yeah. Captain John Vick went to Quantico, what I talked about, and he came back with this idea. And he came up and talked. And I think he was surprised that I said, yeah, let's do this. And so we have, I believe, 63 episodes of the podcast. Wow. And we have just different groups. The county attorney's office has come. We did MAD just the other day, and just different partners that we work with and can talk. And we highlight some of our deputies and what they do. And we try to get out what the sheriff's office does to the people. Because as we were talking earlier, when we do briefings and people see us on the news and that, you only get a little bit, 10 seconds maybe, or 30 seconds at the most. What we wanted to do is promote us. And we do our Facebook Live, our broadcast, our press conferences live, just so that we have an opportunity to get our word out. And the podcast does the same thing. And I've really, enjoyed doing that. John does a great job on that. And this is kind of like second nature, because we've been just doing it for so long. So we have all the same equipment and doing all that. And it's a good time.
Good. Well, it's been an honor today. We appreciate you being here. Special guest. Thank you for your service.
You bet.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. And Sherry, final word. Where can they get our book? South Point Mall.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
No, I can do it. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I had to give him a hard time. No, you can get our book on Amazon.com. You can also get it on the Walmart website. And you can get it at Barnes & Noble website. But here in Lincoln, you can go to Barnes & Noble at South Point Mall. They have our book on two different spots, two different sections of their bookstore. The staff there is absolutely amazing. And actually, if you go into South Point Mall, Barnes & Noble, you can get our book, and they're already signed. They're signed copies.
Sherry, thank you. Ben, again, thank you again. Have a great day. We appreciate it. We'll be wrapping up. See you next week.
Thanks,
you.
guys. Be blessed.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet.